Everyone, welcome back to this week's video. It is Mark here from Digital Groove Online. In this week's video, we're going to look at an official remix I've been asked to do by Brisboy Records. It's a Belfast-based record label, and they've given me a track to remix. So I thought I would go through it over the next couple of weeks and just try to put this together over a few sessions, just so you can break it down and look at it and sort of understand where I generate ideas from. Some of them you may have used before and some of them you may not have. So they've sent me across the stems here. It's sort of a progressive deep house style track. I'm going to try and turn it into a bit more of a melodic style house track. And these are the stems that have been sent over. I'm just going to run through it and I'm going to decide what I'm going to keep for the official remix, and just talk through some of the ideas as to how I get started. So let's have a quick flick through. So a nice progressive style, deep groovy track there. As I'm turning it into a more melodic style track, I'm going to try and pull out some of the melodic elements that I like, and get rid of everything else. This is why I was sort of sorting it in order down there. I'm just sort of looking at what's, these are the effects here. We're not going to need them. So then I'll start removing basically what it is I don't need. The snare build-ups. Let me just move that into the middle. The snare build-ups, we'll take away those as well. Let me just have a listen to some of the bells here and see if they can be used. I'll probably take that out. We have a lead here. Probably come up with our own little melody in there. Take that out as well. Really nice, that. Okay, I really like this here. This could be a feature in the remix. Yeah, I like that as well. And I also like the little breaks. I'm not sure where I'll keep them, but maybe keep that sort of vibe and use different breaks. Really, really nice. Really like the choir. Don't need that. Create our own. Don't need that either. And then we start moving into the percussion. Let me just see what this is. Float. No, we'll leave that out as well. Don't want to take too many elements. I just want to take some of the elements that I really like that catch me, just to see if we can create something that sounds like it fits the record, but it also sounds different to what is already on the record. Take that out as well. The synths, the stabs, the clap, the percussion. Okay, so we can take the rest of this out. Down to here. So the elements we're left with then are these elements here. So they're the most melodic elements within the track, so I'm going to stick with that. So how I approach a remix, first of all, I sift through, first of all I wanted to work out what key it was in, and it was in G minor. I have just go to my main here. There's a nice mixed in key piece of software. If I just pop that on here. I can't remember, it was on sale when I got it, maybe about £30-40. It's just handy for, you know, finding the overall key of the track rather than individual sounds. And the percentage bar there is leaning more towards G minor, 72%. So pop that on and the track is in G minor, which I'll set up here. And just go back here. The next thing I would do after that is have a think about what style I'm going to make this track in. I want it to be melodic, groovy, head bopping. So I've opened up record box at the bottom there. I don't want to give away the track that I'm sort of like listening to, so I just renamed it at the top just for copyright reasons. I'm not going to play this part at the top, but I take some tracks that I like the sound of and I loop parts of those tracks over some of the sounds from the original remix, and you can get, your brain just starts going mad with all these little general ideas. So I've brought that track in and taken little sections of the track and looped it over some of the sounds prior to the session. And you know, record box is great for that. So I've loaded all my tracks in the record box, and I'll filter out on tracks that are already in the key of G minor, because you can get inspired by little chord progressions or bass changes that are already in your library, which is something to consider when doing remixes, and it sparks all sorts of ideas. The next thing after that was I picked tracks that I really like the kick drum of, and I've brought that in already before that. And I have done, in last week's video, I think it was last week's, we done isolating kick drums from your favourite tracks, and I've just isolated a nice kick drum that I like, and I think that is going to fit the sound of the track as well. So let me see if I can trigger that. Middle C. Really, really nice kick drum there, so I've already got that in as well. And from this track here, basically, I put into fader and I stemmed it out, and then I took out the bass line that I liked in it, because the bass line was really, really nice, and I think it fits the track, albeit I'm not going to use the audio because, you know, first and foremost, it belongs to another artist and we're not going to be pushed on copyright. But I quite like how it sounds. I like the rhythm of it. I like the chord changes, so we'll try and recreate that a little bit later on in the track. How does that sound then? So to spark ideas, so if I bring this across roughly to here, where we can see that this element here is starting, and we will loop that up, and I'll just mix in the bass here, and you can hear then this bass change and this bass chord starts to make it a lot more melodic, and it can give us a nice starting point whenever we're doing the remix. So let's mix that in. I'm actually going to turn this down a little bit more now, and we will start mixing in the bass. The bass has already been stripped out of another track and warped. Okay, so let's see, bring it in. started that on the wrong point. Let's bring it back a wee bit more. There we go. And this original audio recording in the background was done at 120, so we need to sort of slow that down again, I think. Yeah, there we go. It starts on the bar up here. Let's bring it up here. I will fix it so that all the audio warps, but it was just to get this in quite quickly. There we go. Bang on the money. Let's draw the kick drum in there and see how it works with that groove. Middle C in the simpler. Just pop that right across, and we'll mix that in as well. I'm actually going to warp these now as well. And just now that we've warped them, we can put it back to the pitch of 124, which I think it will work better in. So let's have a listen. So a couple of bits of percussion in there. We're not going to go too mad. Maybe just some claps, little shakers, and something a little bit lighter on the hi-hat than that. So let's see. One shot. So claps and snares. Let's have a listen through some of these. So let's rename this clap. And we can drag that into a simpler just down here. Okay, that's nice. Just pitch it down. A couple of semitones there. Just sounds a little bit better, and rolled off some of the tops there. Personal preference, but it sounds nice to me. So let's have a listen, see if we can put in some sort of like... We may layer that up as well, but let's put something in like a hat maybe. Maybe a shaker offbeat hat. There's lots of really good ones in here, so what I might do for that is bring in a drum rack. Into here, which is obviously it's all little mini simplers been put in there, but what that will allow me to do will be to look at all those little hats, shaker hats, and bring them all into this drum rack, like so. And let's draw that little offbeat hat. And drag it out. Let's play it with this here. So we can flick through that in real time, and there is absolutely lots there. So let me see. Yeah, we can go down to the bottom from there. So let's play it with it and see. Quite like that one, but I'm going to keep going. Quite like that one there, just to fill it out. Let's see. Bring it down really subtle. Okay, so that's really nice foundation for kick, clap, shaker, and loop. Just a bit of percussion there. In the shaker hat, I just rolled off some of those lows using you know, the high pass filter here. Popped a bit of resonant on, a little bit of drive just to boost that up. We can shape those all a little later on, but I'm just trying to create a bit of a vibe overall in the first session here. But you know, once I get that vibe together, we'll take it over the next few sessions and few videos, and we'll turn that into a full track idea. Hopefully that will be getting released on that label. So it's just to take you through the whole process. In previous videos, I think I've done like starting a track from scratch just to give you an idea that you can go back and forward, and it does take time to put some of those ideas together. Sometimes they come together really quickly, sometimes they just don't. And whenever you hear your favorite producers' tracks out there, trust me, they have the same struggles, you know, as you would as well when coming up with those ideas, and it's just a process that you can sometimes need to keep working at, so you're not on your own there. So the idea is starting to build a little bit now. I'm thinking something more droney in there, a little bit atmospheric, just to add to that, you know. And what we might look at is chopping some of these up as well as we go along, and then we're going to start adding our own ideas into it as well. So let's have a listen on Splice. I'm going to load that up now. I'm just going to put it into the key of G minor and flick through some little atmospheric beds in a hope that this will start to fill out the track a little bit more. So I'm going to add Splice Bridge in here. Again, this was just a bass sample that was taken from a track I really liked that seemed to fit and work with this, the melodics of this here. As we start to progress through, we'll pull that out and we'll redesign a similar sort of bass line. Okay. Okay, that's it synced up now. And we're going to just type in atmospheric, maybe, or atmosphere. Let's see. I wouldn't be too caught up on what genre. You know, when these types of sounds you're flicking through, you'll miss some golden nuggets in there if you're just going to pigeonhole yourself to a genre. Just leave that as it is, but maybe put the key in, which is G minor. And we can do one shots and loops, but for now we'll look at something that's going to loop up and be used as an effect bed in the background of the track. I'm just going to pull this down a little bit. Quite like that one. Yeah, quite like that one. Let's take that one in. We can get one or two of these in where they sort of mold and fade in and out of each other too over time. So that's 124 beats per minute. Oh, wrong. Yeah, 124. Which is what the track is recorded at, so I'm going to actually take warp off so it doesn't do anything funny to the audio. Pop on. And we'll just set it to something similar we had at 21.6. quite like that. Let's EQ some of the bottom frequencies out of the way. That could be quite nice. Just before I bring it into the session, I wanted to see what it sounds like. Just washed out a bit more. Set that to 115 BPM. I'll take the Valhalla. Just drop it on that as well. And we have that at minus 20.4, so let's try that. And we'll just create a bit of separation. And if you've got a good set of headphones on, you should hear that, you know. We'll get automating those as well. Okay, so I think that's enough for the general vibe of like an intro of a track, and I have to come up with something maybe a bit more melodic, chord driven, something that takes it a little bit in another direction to come back into this sort of vibe again here. So for a first session and laying down that track vibe and idea, I'm pretty happy with that so far. And I hope you've maybe gained something from bringing in some of your own favorite tracks that you like, stripping out the stems, importing it in and playing it over some of the parts of the remixes that we've got in there to generate an initial chord change or vibe or idea for the track. As I say, later on we'll be taking this out and we'll be recreating our own. We may not make it as groovy or as funky as that, I'm not sure. But again, it's always good to get these things into your project to give you a general idea of where you would go with it. So, I mean, the bass changes have given me, hope that this track can go on and turn into something nice. If I take this out now and decide that I want to do different bass changes, there's still that was enough to generate an idea to take it to this level so far. So that's quite cool. The effects sit well with it. The percussion and the kick that we've picked is nice and sits well with the vibe of the track as well. We start looking at automating things and moving things to the back and front of the mix, and just starting to create a journey with this track. The next session will be based on generating a melodic idea that's different to the one that's already there. It could be chords, it could be plucks, it could be leads, synths, it could be maybe even little vocals, I'm not quite sure. But that's it for today. Generating an idea can be as quick as that. If you just think of those little tools to help you along the way. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.